Oh, yeah, thanks for having me tonight. I'm so excited to be here to share this with you. And my name is Therese Laux, and it's an amazing experience. So it involved myself, my father, and my wife, Laura. Sounds pretty ordinary so far, right? You're hoping I don't pull out a vacation photo album and start sharing some picture about the Grand Canyon. But what we had was an amazing text conversation. And what's truly unique is that my father passed away when I was 2. And I'm a little bit older than that now, so it's hard to think about how this actually works. But we had text messaging. And I know you're like, this is crazy. Has she been drinking? Is she on drugs? She's from California, so we know what that means, you know, different mindset out there for sure. I always thought somebody was hacking our phone. And my father always referred to the phone as an instrument or a device. He never referred to it as a phone. And besides, I'm a teacher of technology, computer science, as I mentioned. Plus, the best part, I'm a know-it-all. Anyone else in here a know-it-all? Raise your hand. Be proud. I know you are. All right, high five. Know-it-all. Know-it-all, teacher of computer science technology. I can solve this. I know what's going on. Somebody's getting in my phone and doing something. They're just messing with us. But that wasn't the case at all. It was for real. So I'm going to share with you tonight how this began, what my father Fred shared with me, and why what he shared was meant for everybody in this room. It was meant for everybody I run into to say, hey, let me tell you something about this, okay? And tonight I'll refer to him as Fred. I'll refer to him as, father. He really liked being called father. Did not much care for dad, daddy, papa, or that one dude on the phone. No, he liked the moniker of father. In fact, he stated that, I really like this moniker. So his language was a little bit different at times, but he was born in 1906. He was much older than my mom, and so he writes kind of a different style, but it's really quite beautiful. And he actually passed away from pancreatic cancer when I was 2, leaving my mom a single parent of 3 children, one of them being me, the know-it-all. Remember that part? So that's got to be a little bit demanding. And of course, cancer is a terrifying experience. And my wife, Laura, was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015. She underwent a double mastectomy, and I think that, I hate to say it, cancer club of her having cancer, my father dying from cancer, kind of developed a bond with them. He was very protective of her, looked out for her, and I think it was one pathway to make a connection to me. And so this was about a week after her mastectomy surgery, came home. She was sleeping. I was in the kitchen. That's never a good idea. I don't really have those kind of skills unless it's like mopping the floor. I can do that. Don't ever accept a meal from me if I say I made it. I'm probably lying. So whatever I was doing, I heard my phone ding. Your phone ding, you pick it up and you see, oh, it's from Laura. I'm like, she's napping. She must have woke up and she needs something. And I read it. I'm going to read it to you because I'm terrible at memorizing. I don't want to leave anything out. So it says, Therese, this is your father. Be brave. Don't falter. Laura is too weak physically, but strong psychically. Lean on each other's strengths. Let her guide your choices. Be her strength. You are 2 sides of the same coin. She is all heart into it, no strength. You, all strength, little into it. Join. She's in meditation. Wait 23 minutes to tattle on me, if you must. I'm reading this and I'm thinking, this is really a weird message. And I'm like, why is she sending me this message? Because I thought she was sleeping. And this is like, what is this? I don't even understand this. So I thought, I'm going to go see what's going on. And went into the bedroom. She's laying in bed sleeping. She always kept her phone by the nightstand. So I picked it up to look at it, go through the text. It's like, sure enough, there's a text from her. And that's what it says. This is your father. Be brave. You're also, okay, 23 minutes. This is like, I have no idea what that is. So I did what most people do. You just stand there and you wait for them to wake up. Okay? Did you know, humans can sense when someone's staring at them? You can feel it. Anyone have kids do that? You're sleeping, taking a nap. They're like, you're going to find this out because you have a baby now. Yeah, wait a while. It's going to happen. So in time, Laura woke up and she's like, what are you doing? Because I'm just standing there. And I said, did you send me a text, honey? Did you send me a little text? And she gave me that look you give your spouse when you're like, there's something wrong with this person. And I read her the text, emphasizing the Therese, this is your father part, and the part that said, wait 23 minutes, which I did not. By the way, I didn't wait. And she said, I didn't send that. And we just looked at each other like, this is like truly weird. And we kept reading this text over and over. I mean, how could my dead father use Laura's phone to send a text to me that I received on my phone? How is this happening? And remember, know-it-all, teacher of technology, my mind was trying to explain a way that someone who knew us found a way into our phone and then sent this message that was totally strange. And it's like, none of that makes any sense. Hacking her phone and using it to send me strange messages, that just really makes no sense. And so the more we talked about this, the more we realized, this is probably for real. This is like whole new neighborhood to be playing in. And I remember when I was a kid, and there are folks here and here who may remember this too. You had the AM radio in your car, and you had all those frequencies. And like if you're turning the dial between stations, all you get is that shh, that white noise. And people would be like, I got a message through my radio last night. Or even better, remember when the TV went off at midnight? They'd play the national anthem and be like, station signing off. And then it'd just be all white screen going shh. And people would be like, I left my TV on last night, and I could have sworn I heard Aunt Irene come in and say, did you let the dog out? And people are like, I don't know if I believe that or not. But it's like actually documented truth. So it's called electronic voice phenomena, or EVP. And you're starting to see a lot of it happening. Well, maybe people are just standing up now and say, hey, this is what's happening. Because if you think of us as all being electrical beings in a physical container, it's an easy pathway to travel through electricity. Our friend Nikolai Tesla would be like thankful that he's being mentioned in this conversation, because he was like, he's right now saying, of course you can do that. Electricity is easy to travel through. So Laura and I discussed this all afternoon and figured out there's really no other explanation. And she really was an incredible person on this planet. She had a set of skills that would fall into the arena of, that kind of sounds paranormal, and that she was an intuitive medium. She could read people, their thoughts, their feelings. She was really respectful of that when she met people in terms of seeing, hearing, and feeling things about them. She could channel other entities and attract them from beyond the veil. It's like she was like a lighthouse, and they would see her light and step in. So I think it was her combination of special skills and maybe the relationship with my father and her having shared a cancer experience that managed to connect me in there, and for him to use that phone. And he came here with the mission. He wanted to find a way for his gals, which is how he referred to myself and my two sisters, one who's here tonight. And he wanted to change our trajectory, to push us to the path that we were meant to walk. And he found a way through Laura's phone to make that happen. And it was a different experience to have a text bubble show up on the phone and see that this came from Laura's phone, but it's not from her, and it's now on my phone to me from him. I mean, that takes a minute to be like, what? For real. There are some really funny moments as well. Sometimes he would send me a note about Laura saying, like, she's not doing too well. You need to make sure she has a little bit more protein today. And it'd be so funny because she'd grab that phone. She'd be like, Fred, I am right here. I can read this, okay? You are using my phone. I can see this. It's like, but he was saying it in a manner of, well, polite company wouldn't be snooping over a message that isn't yours, So, but that's how it was. And I know we were given an incredible gift. Over the 5 years of communicating with my father, I discovered a fun intelligent, and caring parent, but he was a taskmaster. He was on a mission to change my trajectory. And as he was always saying, we have a lot of work to do. All right, so anyone in here ever fail on something? I fail constantly. It's my best teacher. But it's like he really needed to change the trajectory. And he shared a lot of information with me that is meant to be shared with others. I've been tasked to do that in hopes that it brings people comfort about why we're here, where we're going, how all this works, where's that winning lottery ticket when I need it, all that kind of stuff. We'll see what we can get into. But let me share this one with you. In case you're wondering, anyone wonder how we got here on this planet? What are we doing? All right. So we travel in circles. You probably have thought about this. It's a group of souls, a soul circle, if you wish. Could be your soul sister, maybe not. But we have entities we travel with frequently, or even all the time, or sometimes not so much. And he always referred to humans as entities. It's kind of like the generic, okay, in this life you're human. This is your form. You're not always here on this planet, or maybe you like being here on this planet. You're here all the time. You love being human. All right? We have other choices, other places to go. So with each life and many lives that we live, we travel with both familiar soul circle members and others new to us. And I explain it as we have our DNA family, the family we're born into. They're not necessarily all our soul members, but maybe they are. And some people, they have many lifetimes together. So say you and I, we have many lifetimes together. That's why we're so comfortable, my little comfort table here. But we have other people who we're not comfortable with because they're new to us. Some people, some entities, live every life together. I have a DNA family member, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but they have lived every life together. But they're new to our soul circle. They're not part of our circle. They are brand spanking new. And he was so excited to know they were coming because they're quite powerful. But it's like, this is going to be awesome to see what they do because we have no clue what they're going to do. We don't even know them. But they have always been together. And I just find that amazing. So in addition to choosing our circles and saying, hey, I want to learn this from you, and maybe I'll teach you how to do this, and we're all connected, so like maybe these people can help me with this, and you're going to help me with this, and we all make our way through the world traveling in our circle. But when we do that, before we even get here, we're making plans. We've got our plan A saying, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to help this person. They're going to teach me how to do this. I was a terrible boss to them in a previous life, so this life, they're going to be that terrible boss, and I'm going to see what that feels like, and I'm going to learn from that. Things like that. Maybe that's our plan A. But then we're always like, we're a little ambitious. Some of that may not work out. We need a plan B in case that doesn't work. And then it's like, okay, plan B, she's going to take this on. I was supposed to have children, decided, no, I ain't doing that. We had to come up with another plan. That was our plan B, But in my family's condition, plan A failed. Plan B failed. So our backup, it didn't work. Everything we planned, just like right out the window, nothing lined up. We had really ambitious plans, and it affected my life path and then everyone around me. You know how you throw a rock in the pond and you watch the ripples and they start out really small and they get bigger and bigger and they touch more and more surface? That's kind of what we're doing. It's like whatever action we take, whatever choice we make, whatever we're thinking and doing, it's sending something out. And we can send out peace and love and understanding, or we can send out seeds of hate and divisiveness, and instead of working for the good, we're fueling anger, and that doesn't work. So my father spent a long time trying to find a way to get to me and my sisters. He wanted to fix things. He wanted to move that needle. Like when you're playing those LP records, which I love, and your needle gets stuck, not like the DJ going waka, 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 but it's stuck because it's like stuck. And you got to give it a gentle nudge to get it going on track. You don't just slap it over. It's like a gentle nudge to just kind of, move it to where it needs to be. So he spent a long time And he finally found that way through Laura's phone, where he could use that, and it was incredible. So here's another text I want to share with you, in case you're wondering, what is the big picture? Greetings, child. It is your father. That line is in every text. It is your father, like saying, it's me. It's me. It's not who you think it is. Because, they can hear it. I mean, they're hearing us right now. They can hear what we say. They know what we're thinking. They're right here, yet very far away. So anyway, back to this. I am always here for you to throw ideas off, as they say these days. I do hear. Unfortunately, I am stymied on a few levels. I cannot help you change lessons that you set in place for yourself. Lessons are there for a greater purpose, to enlighten, to teach. And sometimes we may not like our teachers, but they are working off karma, or a better word choice may be kismet. And more often, it is a lesson preordained by you and the other party before your births. So if you're working hard and achieving nil, consider that possibility and brace yourself to learn all you can from it. Learn how not to lead. Learn how to be kind to those with lesser brain pan activity. Learn how to be humble. So throughout these texts spanning years, he shared details of life here on earth and life on the other side, how life there really isn't much different from life here. We have jobs here. We've got jobs there. They've got stuff they've got to do, stuff they got to get done. Laura and I would talk all the time about, what do you think his job is? He keeps talking about, we got a job there, we got a job there. What do you think he does? Because what was weird was when his texts first started, they seemed to line up with events because we kept looking for patterns. So big events where there's massive pain and grief. Do you remember Officer Carrie Orozco? The night she was gunned down, text came in. And then we tracked everything, and it's sure enough, those early texts, they coincided with massive amounts of grief. So we're I bet he's a grief counselor. And this goes to, hey, they can hear us? Because sure enough, here comes a text. You and Laura are pretty darn close to what I do. So I didn't send him a text to say, hey, are you a grief counselor? He's just hearing us talk. And he's replying saying, you're very close. When I send a text saying, I feel like this person's in our group. Are they in our group? He's like, yes, it's uncanny how you get this, how you understand how this works. So he shared a lot of details about that. And the goal is really to create more peace, love, and understanding in our fragile world. And he wants everyone, me, you, all of you, to understand that we have to see ourselves in each other. Because when you see yourselves in each other, you don't hate. You don't have the anger oh, I'm so mad at you. It doesn't happen. It's you have to see yourself in each other. So one day we're going to leave this place that gives us this accelerated course learning experience, as I like to call it, because I asked him, why, what are we doing here? We can do things here we can't do anywhere else. This isn't the only game in town, but it goes by very quickly in comparison. And in other places, our lives would be like lifetimes on this planet. But let me share with you what he said in October of 2016. Daughter, it is father. Funerals are sad for the living, but happy for those who have passed through the veil. Think of it as living in a large house, and one person goes on to find a magical room filled with love, mercy, and tenderness. They pass through and look out at the other inhabitants of the house and feel their love buoying them up. That is why it is important to always be your most loving self. All the love you give and garner, it goes with you when you pass and serves you well. You realize that all the money made means nothing in comparison with the love you gave and accepted. Imagine all the billionaires who passed to find that the poor shoemakers surpassed them on the other side. And I know it was an incredible gift for Laura and I and my father to have this conversation. Sometimes it was so hilariously funny. Other times he'd be texting me to tell me to shape up and be a better person. In my mind, I felt like that was more of it, but it really wasn't. It really was he was my father, my parent. He was parenting me. Even if I was adult, we're all timeless. And so his viewpoints, everything he shared served a purpose to help others. And that's the goal now, to put it down in a book and share it with others, so you can hear more of what he said and how it can make a difference to you and in your lives. And the very last text I got from him was right before Laura passed away, and it was like this bittersweet goodbye. It was almost like you're sending a kid off to college or something, because it's like, remember to do this and, go through this. He went through all these things. He told so many things. And it's like, oh, wow, he's saying goodbye. This sucks. But then it's like, you have to take the opportunity to develop another pathway. So if I want to text Rulene, but she doesn't have a phone, maybe I'm going to go knock on her door and say, hey, how you doing, girlfriend? Or maybe I'm going to send her a postcard. I'm going to find another way. And that's what I've been working on in terms of finding another way. And I like automatic writing. I like meditating, and I love being out in the park very early in the morning before the sun comes up. I find that darkness to kind of be like a sensory deprivation tank in some sort, and that kind of helps me focus. I think everyone has the ability to find something that works, and that's my 2 cents for it. But
Tell us about your book and how we can get it and when it's coming out.
Okay, so lots of questions there with not a lot of answers from me, but I'm sorry?
And your website.
Oh, and the website, that's right. Okay, and I'll put this up on the table up there. So if you want to snap a picture with your phone, or like I'll hold it right here if you want. So that kind of thing, do the little modeling. So I'll explain this story too, because the website is it just went up, and it's really a core of a website. So it's just a bare bones right now, BeTheRailing.com.
We have these too.
Oh, you want? Oh, where's my helpful assistant? Okay, that'd be swell. So Lucy's going to come around and hand out a little reminder of this too, if you wish. That'd be great. And we also have like 3x5 cards with pens if you want to write a question, or if you have a question now, we can do that. But so one early morning in the park, I was walking, and my father frequently walks with me. I know he's there. And he did a lot of texting when I was in the park. And one day, this wasn't a text, but this was like a download in my head, if that makes sense. It's like, bam, everything's like right there. And he's saying, sit down. And this is by the playground. They have this little jungle gyms thing. And he said, tell me what you see. And it said, there's a little playground, and it looks like it's pretty accessible. It's got steps and ladders and, railings and all sorts of things. You don't have to do everything the same way. And if you're limited in ability, you can still use it. And if you're an Olympic athlete, you can probably still use it. And, he said, tell me about the railings. I said, well, it's so you don't fall off, but you don't have to use them if you don't want to, but they serve a purpose to help you reach your goal of, I want to be up there on the top of that slide, but I can't really climb so well on this ladder, but if I hold the railing, I can help myself up, and if I fall, I might be able to catch myself, but you don't have to use it. He said, exactly. And all of us should be the railing for others. You're there to help others, but you don't have to be pushy about it. You don't have to command people to do this or that. Just be the railing. Be there, if they need you, be there if they don't need you. But just everybody lift everybody up. And so he basically told me, this is the name of the website, Be the Railing. And then he showed me a picture of the book we're going to write, because it's really about him, my wife Laura, and myself writing this together. And it's a series of moments, life now and after. And I'm not finished with it yet, but it basically sketches out how this all began, what was shared, and stuff like that. I'm kind of excited about kind of like the appendix part, because he shared a lot of information through literature, through music, and it was just crazy. It's one day he was talking about something, and he's texting when I say he's talking about something, and he said, stay golden, pony boy. He said, if you don't know what that means, ask Laura, because she was reading books all the time. And I thought, I know what this is. It's from the S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders, But so, and then other times he'd be like, check out Adam Levine's Lost Stars, or have you seen Manchester by the Sea? You need to see that, And he'd talk about the Supreme Court Loving ruling, and it's like he would throw all this stuff in. So when you pass, as he said, you have all this astral knowledge. You have the knowledge from your most recent life and the knowledge from your previous lives, and you have knowledge of people you've shared lives with, both now and then, and now you remember who they are. It's a crazy amount of information, and I'm really excited to share it. It's just not done, but I am going to be sharing most of it on the website, so you can check it out there. And again, be forgiving of me because the website's not quite done, but it's a start. So who's got a question of anything?
Explain what your father did for a living, what he was.
He was a lawyer, and he used his law degree mostly for business, the business aspect. He wasn't a trial attorney. He was more of a business person. And at the end of his life, he was working in West Point, Nebraska, running the alfalfa mill, the business end of that. So, but he was big in the Catholic Church, Vincent de Paul's Society. He was highly religious, very Catholic, and he would say, and he did say, his family was all too pious.
Did he communicate with
He has one text where he says, I'm trying to connect with them. I don't think they hear me. But he did say, what's interesting, and I've shared this, is it okay if I share this? So animals are huge. And so is it all right if I share this story about the dog? So my sister Mary here thought she was getting a dog for her grandson, Braden, right? It wasn't for Braden. It was for her, because the dog is tied to you. And you wonder why, right? Got this for Braden. It's tied to you. They are able to step into animals, and dogs are very friendly company. They're like, oh, sure, I'm fine with that. Come on in. And, so he tries to talk to her through the dog. And my other sister has an exceptional cat, as he describes it, a most exquisite animal. He uses that animal with her. But I don't know if they put it together. And I truly am lucky because, again, all strength, little intuit. Laura, the exact opposite, a lot of intuition and not so much strength. We are fortunate in that we could actually read the text. I didn't have to worry about talking to a parakeet which, I like animals. So, yeah, I think I've got the easy end. And I would wish this for everyone. Who would not want this? Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. This is fabulous. I don't think we're the only ones. I know we're not. There's a lady in London or somewhere over in England who was receiving text messages from her deceased husband using the app WhatsApp. But they were limited. Like it wasn't a conversation. It was, he sent something like, don't worry about me, I'm fine, that kind of thing. And so she wrote a book about WhatsApp. Yes?
Yeah, I told Karen that my daughter had told me her dad has been dead 10 years. And she said, Mom, I got a text from CB, which would be my dad. And I said, well, he's just checking in, telling you he's okay. And letting you know he's around.
Right.
So I called her last night. I just told her you were going to do it. And she's got more than one text.
Yes, right.
So she didn't tell me how many, but she said she has done.
It's not always easy to share with people.
Right.
Because the first reaction is, I don't believe it. We go to see Harry Potter, we go see Star Wars and say, God, I wish I was living in that. Yeah. But it's like we should be more like, why can't they're right here? I mean, they're literally right here next to us and far away all at the same time, and they're hearing us, and they're in our head. And like with Laura and I, it was so obvious. Like we could be having a conversation, and then next thing you know, here he is saying, "I don't know why you're talking to her like that. You need to stop right now. This is not how I raised you." And it's like. so they're here. And I know he walks with me. He always told me, I walk with you in the morning. And there'd be times where he'd send me a note early in the morning. Don't need to go out today. There is a lost soul down there. It's not safe. So, and then I stayed home. Absolutely. Because I am out there in the dark. And I love it. But it's like, if he's telling me there's something to watch out for, I'm going to watch out for it. So, yeah. So.
Well, and Teresa's going to stay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For meditation, and I think maybe we'll have more questions after Alicia gives her presentation and we do a meditation.
Right, and we're all going to stay for that. I'm going to stay for that. That'd be awesome. And then I'll be here to answer any questions. Or if I don't get you tonight, just send me, this is my email. Send me an email. I will get back to you. Won't be a problem at all. And I go back home to California a week from Wednesday. So.
Well, and also your website has a place to ask questions.
Yes, and that's going to be, the website will be built out as time goes.
So test her out by sending her.
There you go. Can I share one last quote for you, though? Because it's one of my favorites. And I think it just really pertains to what's happening in the world. And it just answers a lot of questions. So, daughter, that's me. Your world is a tiny microbe of many in a galaxy that is nearly infinite. And yet there is always one theme. Those who rise up, human or other form, succumb to greed and forget the real lesson of life. As your Morgan says, he's referencing The Walking Dead, by the way, Morg. I know. I'll tell you another TV story afterwards if you want to hear it. As your Morgan says, all life is precious. Then the seeds of war and unrest are thrown. The only solution is to be as St. Francis and become a channel for peace. Violence may solve problems temporarily, but it does not serve to bring peace. Only a simmering state of repressed hatred that rises slowly to the surface, inciting more violence, a dismal circle. And I just think that's just so spot on. If we just even thought about that, made that our moment, be like, we got to work for peace, especially these days. It's just, anyone else worry about this like I do? I'm sure you do. So, but thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it, and thank you. So.